Evolution is a theory developed 140 years ago by Charles Darwin. His famous book, On the Origin of Species, by Means of Natural Selection, has a title that is now known to be scientifically false. New species cannot evolve by natural selection. Modern scientific discoveries are proving evolution to be impossible. No new scientific discoveries have been found to support the theory of evolution. Life did not start with a bolt of lightning striking a pond of water, as claimed by the mainstream scientists. The DNA in plants and animals allows selective breeding to achieve desired results. Dogs are a good example of selective breeding. The DNA in all dogs has many recessive traits. Many different types of dogs can be developed this way, but they can never develop the cat by selectively breeding dogs. Natural selection can never extend outside of the DNA limit. DNA cannot be changed into a new species by natural selection. The same process of selective breeding is done with flowers, fruits, and vegetables. If natural selection were true, humans at northern latitudes would have black skin, but they have white skin instead, except the Eskimos, who have skin that is halfway between white and black. The people from Russia and the Nordic countries have white skin, blood hair, and blue eyes. This is the opposite of what one would predict if natural selection controlled skin color. Time does not make impossible things possible. As an example, a computer was programmed in an attempt to arrive at the simple 26-letter alphabet. After 35 trillion attempts, it has only arrived at 14 letters correctly. What are the odds that a simple single-cell organism could evolve, given the complexity of more than 60,000 proteins, of 100 different configurations, all in the correct places? Never in eternity. Time does not make impossible things possible. Here are scientific facts to prove the theory of evolution is false. The body and soul of Darwin's theory of evolution was the idea that evolution was made possible through natural selection. This concept is based on the suggestion that those members of a species that are a little stronger, a little larger, or run a little faster, will live longer to procreate offspring with these superior adaptations. Darwin's theory suggests that millions of generations later the changes will result in new species. These adaptations are called links, or intermediates, between the old species and the new. One of the best examples of evolution nonsense is the thought that a wingless bird began to evolve a wing. Why this would occur is not answered by evolutionists. The wing stub did not make the bird more adaptable to his environment. The first wing stubs would be much too small for the bird to fly. Why would a bird evolve wing stubs that are useless? This is backwards from the evolutionary theory of natural selection, which states that birds adapt and change in order to survive better in their environment. The bird with a half-size wing is placed at a disadvantage in its environment. Why would the bird continue for millions of generations to improve a wing stub that is useless? The theory of evolution is based on natural selection of the most adaptable member of a species, not the weakest. A bird with a useless wing is at a severe disadvantage. This is the opposite of natural selection. Giant dinosaurs literally exploded onto the scene during the Triassic period. The fossil record, petrified bones found in the ground, as at the Dinosaur National Park in Jensen, Utah, USA, shows no intermediate or transitional species. Where are the millions of years of fossils, showing the transitional forms for dinosaurs? They do not exist, because the dinosaurs did not evolve. Books published by evolutionists have shown the giant Cedosaurus dinosaur, with the long neck extending upright, eating from the treetops. They claimed natural selection was the reason Cedosaurus had a long neck. This gave them an advantage in reaching fodder that other species could not reach. One day, during the assembly of a skeleton for a museum display, someone noticed the neck vertebrae were such that the neck could not be lifted higher than stretched horizontally in front of them. The natural selection theory was proven to be a big lie. The Cedosaurus dinosaur was an undergrowth eater. The long neck actually placed the Cedosaurus at a disadvantage in his environment, just the opposite from the natural theory of natural selection. Evolutionists line up pictures of similar-looking species and claim they evolved one from another. The human family tree is an example of this flawed theory. Petrified skulls and bones exist from hundreds of species of extinct monkeys and apes. Evolutionists line up the most promising choices to present a gradual progression from monkey to modern man. They simply fill in the big gaps with make-believe creatures to fit the picture. This procedure can be done with humans only, because there are many extinct monkey and ape species. They never do this with giraffes, elephants or the platypus. Why do they claim the above discovery is close to the missing link? The answer is simple. Look at the picture. It is a monkey species that has become extinct. Lots of species have become extinct. Millions of species have become extinct. A newly discovered extinct species does not prove a missing link has been found. Charles Darwin admitted that fossils of the transitional links between species would have to be found in order to prove his theory of evolution. Well, these transitional links have never been found. We only find individual species. Evolutionists try to form these individual species into a link according to similar major features, such as wings or four legs, but this simply proves the theory of evolution to be a fraud. Darwin was hopeful that future fossils would prove his theory correct, but instead, the lack of transitional links has proven his theory to be wrong. The presence of individual species actually proves they were not developed by an evolutionary process. If evolution were true, all plants, animals, and insects would be in a continual state of change. No two creatures would be identical, because they would not be separate species. All life forms would be a continual blend of characteristics, without a clear definition among the species. Everything would be changing, and every animal, insect, and plant would be different. The theory of evolution states that minute improvements in an individual within a species increases the likelihood of survival of the offspring. These small steps of improvements continue for countless years, until the individuals are changed to such a large extent that a new species has appeared. This progression is an uninterrupted branch of the evolutionary tree. These lines of progression can be seen in any biology textbook for many species, including mankind. They almost look believable. The siblings of an individual on the uninterrupted branch may fail to develop the minute improvement, and may even suffer from an inferior evolutionary change. Each of these individuals represents a new branch on the tree that is moving away from the uninterrupted branch. Let us say we have 100,000 coexisting individuals in a species such as a horse. Only a few of these individuals will begin new branches that will eventually become a new species, such as a zebra. The other 99,999 individuals may each begin a neutral or inferior branch that may continue for millions of years, but will eventually stop, because the last individual on the branch fails to produce an offspring. The odds that the branch will stop producing offspring is increased when the minute evolutionary changes are inferior. The theory of survival of the fittest or natural selection also works in reverse to produce death to the branch where the changes are inferior. The branch stops. This part of the tree is dead. One superior individual of the 100,000 is missing, but now we have an even more serious defect in the theory. Where are the 99,999 inferior branches? How could 99,999 branches go missing? Actually, the fossil record shows that everything is missing. No individuals of the species existed. None. Most layers of the Earth's crust are completely devoid of all life, but then a layer will appear that is teeming with an absolute abundance of separate species, each containing millions of individuals. Where are the fossils of horses, with weak bones that fractured early in life, and thereby prevented an offspring from continuing the branch? They don't exist, but they should, if the theory of evolution was true. In fact, the fossil record should be full of dead branches, which is not. The fossil record simply shows individual species that have become extinct. There is no scientific evidence that a species can change the number of chromosomes within the DNA. The chromosome count within each species is fixed. This is the reason a male from one species cannot mate successfully with a female of another species. Man could not evolve from a monkey. Each species is locked into its chromosome count that cannot be changed. If an animal developed an extra chromosome or lost a chromosome because of some deformity, it could not successfully mate. The defect could not be passed along to the next generation. Evolving a new species is scientifically impossible. For example, a dog has only 22 chromosomes, whereas a monkey has 54, and a cat has 38. Half of the total number of chromosomes are contained in the female reproductive cells, and half are contained in the male, so the exact total number is brought together in the offspring. Humans have 46 chromosomes. This chromosome count is a steady factor. This determines what is called the fixity of species, because the chromosome count doesn't vary. People always give birth to people. Dogs always give birth to dogs. The genes can produce variety within the species, but cannot result in a different species. Genes allow for people to be short, tall, fat, thin, blonde, brunette. But they are still all human beings. The chromosomes make crossing of the species an uncrossable barrier. This certainly would hinder any evolution. Dogs cannot breed with cats. This fact stops evolution dead in its tracks. Sometimes, two species are close enough to crossbreed, but the offspring are usually sterile. This is the case when horses and donkeys crossbreed. A male donkey and a female horse will produce a mule. Farmers often preferred mules as work animals prior to the development of the farm tractor. A hinny is the offspring of a female donkey and a male horse. The hinny and mule usually cannot produce offspring. These animals show that evolution is not possible.